Well, I'm here with Megan McDonald, and she is one of our senior engineers at Clark Dietz in transportation. And she is also the president of the ASCE Illinois section.
Yeah.
So
Thanks.
Welcome.
Thank you. Yeah.
And how's your experience working virtually with other Clark Dietz staff?
I find I'd worked from home a couple of days before, and I've been pretty good at being able to stay connected with my coworkers. And then because we have Chicago and Oak Brook Terrace now, one of my project managers that I work with a lot, we've been working remotely essentially ever since we opened up that office. So not a lot has changed in that way. I think we've actually done more happy hours or virtual calls and things like that than we had been doing previously. But between Skype and email and cell phones and everything else, I feel like we are just about the same. I miss this day-to-day face-to-face interactions, hearing what you're doing for the weekend, all that stuff. But I think that we're doing a really great job of getting through projects, staying connected with where we are, and making sure we're staying on task. But I think it's going to be interesting. I mean, depending on where you are, I think it's going to be such a different way. In Chicago, this is going to last a long time, and it's going to be, I don't know when the phases will open up enough for us to go back. Luckily, we have a small office, but still it might be longer than some of the other locations of our offices. But I think some of this virtual idea will stay. I think virtual meetings with our clients and virtual interactions with our coworkers or sub-consultants, I think a lot of that, so we were doing some of it, I guess, before, because we're not always in the same location. But I think we're learning the efficiency of some of those communications. And I think that'll be great moving forward, having some of maybe some virtual meetings or some other things going on that we weren't having before.
Does it ever get tiring, doing the video chats?
Yes.
Do you ever feel drained after a day do you have a lot of, video chats during the day, or?
I'm mostly just through Skype audio. I did my hair for the first time in a long time. I don't usually look so put together.
You look great.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
This is not my everyday anymore. So I try not to show my face very often. But yeah, I mean, it's definitely even just audio. I mean, it's still more exhausting than just not having the actual talking and interacting. But yeah, it's definitely, it can be much more exhausting at the end. And my son tells his friends no sometimes now. He doesn't want to talk to people at the end of the day. He's just done.
Right.
So he's feeling the same. So I think it's really common to just be burned out a little bit.
Mm-hmm. What challenges is your community facing, the communities that you serve? What challenges are they facing right now, do you see?
So I kind of think of myself, as two communities. I'm a working parent, and I think that's a community that I identify obviously with very well. And a lot of my coworkers and a lot of the people I volunteer with at ASCE are working parents as well. Even one parent working or two parents working, it's a very different world out there with no daycares and no schools. So the common thread that I hear from all of us is, I'm not doing anything at a high level. I'm not parenting at a high level. I don't know if I'm doing my job at the best level that I've ever done it. They're just the stress of having to take care of your kids, make sure your kids are learning, and make sure that they're not sitting in front of an iPad all day, while, still meeting deadlines and making sure your project work gets out. I think that's really overwhelming for a lot of us right now. But I mean, frankly, I think we all operate at a very high level. So I keep telling my friends and coworkers, I can't tell that you're not. You're doing an awesome job. I feel like we just have a lot of pressure on ourselves to make sure that we are really making this work and putting in extra hours at night when the kids are in bed, or putting in extra hours in the weekend, just to make sure that we're staying on top of things and making sure that we are getting our responsibilities done. So in terms of ASCE, that's been something that's really interesting, trying to adapt our a society to a virtual stage is something that we were not anticipating doing, and it wasn't, and so quickly. So it's been interesting going to all of our board meetings right now. Everything is just like canceled, because we can't do any of, switching from a in-person lunch meeting to a virtual lunch meeting and getting everyone on board for that is just hard to do so quickly. So we've on a society level, we didn't have a whole lot of meetings and stuff that were affected too heavily, but I know our technical groups are trying to come up with ways to still hold virtual technical meetings and things like that to help our members and engage our members. And we, as a section, we're trying to really start some online campaigns. We had to skip our president-elect dinner this year, which means our scholarship winners didn't get an in-person congratulations. So, we've been doing some social media campaigns, making sure we recognize them as much as we can, coming up with new ways at other events that we could still recognize them in the future. Some social media campaigns to show, show us your house, show us your coworkers, show us, if you're construction and you're still out there, thank you. And, show us how you're staying safe when you still have to be not at home. So we've been trying really hard to come up with ways to just keep our members knowing that we're here, knowing that we're a resource, and just knowing that they can count on us to be there on the other side. And our biggest thing coming up is our annual awards dinner is trying to find new innovative ways to still be able to recognize the incredible engineers and projects that we have in the Chicagoland area in our section, to make sure that we don't skip that over a year, because we have some really exciting projects and people that we want to recognize. So it's just taking a lot of brainstorming, a lot of meetings between our board, just trying to figure out what we can do next. And we have really great people who are working really hard to find new ways that I hope our members notice, and also something that we might be able to use moving forward to try to streamline some of our other processes and make sure that, we are offering something of value.
How has this current crisis affected engineering as a profession?
This is personal point of view, I think.
Yeah.
I'll take off my Clark Dietz hat for a second, and my section
Sure.
president. I think that if this had happened last year, we would be in a much different place than we are now. By having the capital bill Rebuild Illinois passed last year to provide that infrastructure spending and raising the gas tax, it's helping. It's not covering, but at least it's helping us by no one's driving, no one's filling up their cars. So now we're not getting that revenue from the tax, from the gas. So at least we raised it last year, got a little bit back from it. And also I think it would be a hard sell to do any of those things this year based on the economy that we're experiencing and the pandemic. So I think we're lucky in the fact that those things happened. And I think that's helping keep our profession kind of afloat right now, which is, I think, similar to what happened with the last capital bill. We were able to weather some recession with that one as well. So I'm hoping that positivity from that will still continue on. It sounds like, projects are still out there, engineers are still working. So I'm hoping that, it'll help carry us through. And I think we're resilient. We've made it through this before. And so now our big push, from a federal level, trying to get some infrastructure spending as part of the relief bills there, and trying to get some something for the infrastructure from a federal level. And I think that'll keep us going as well. So I think we'll be fine. I think it'll stretch us thin for a bit, but I do think in the end, we'll make it. We'll be fine. We'll get there.
What positive outcomes do you see coming out of this unprecedented time?
Personally, I hope that everyone's just a little bit more understanding, a little more kind, in like the general sense of working too. It used to be such taboo to have a screaming kid in the back or a barking dog, heaven forbid, on a conference call. And now, I've had to hang up quickly and be like, yeah, I'm sorry, my kid just fell off something, and I hear dogs barking in meetings all the time. And I think it's been great, because I'm hoping, we all see each other a little bit more human. We see, the balances we were doing, the work-life balance that we're trying to accomplish, whether you have kids or not. That's still a real thing. So I just hope that in the end, we all come out of this a little bit more human, and we find ways to connect with each other, which I think has been one of the funnest, that's not even a word, but one of the best things from this is that, I feel like I've connected with people a lot differently. And it's just been kind of encouraging to see everyone looking out for each other. And so I think I just hope for just, more understanding, more of that. And then in general, I think the culture of working from home, the stigma that sometimes is attached with other companies, or the way that can be viewed, I think people are realizing now that, we have the tools to stay connected wherever we are. We can connect to our servers. We can keep on track with our projects. We can really keep moving forward, whether we're in the office in our cubicle and you can see them sitting there or not. So I just think there's some value in just knowing and trust between coworkers and between, management and everything too. I think establishing that trust is important. And I think it's happening. The people in the Chicago office and the people in the Oak Terrace office that I personally know are so talented and so good at their job that I can trust them. That if we're not seeing each other every day, I know stuff is still getting done. I know that they're on my team. I know that they're going to work for me to make me look good too. So I'm just really lucky that they've made it really easy for me. The biggest thing I do is I sign off at least a dozen emails every single day with what day it is. Like, have a happy Tuesday, so that I can keep track that, oh, this is Tuesday.
That's a great idea. I have noticed these days blurring together.
Yeah. And it helps too. It breaks up from stay safe, stay this, stay that. I'm just enjoy this day and let me tell you what day it is. So that's been my personal trick, just to keep on track.
That's a good one. I like it. Well, thank you, Megan. I really appreciate this interview.
Thanks for having me. This was fun.